saw in the paper, and I thought, well, I kinda, after, I thought, well, that might be the whole place, but I never did know if he lived there or not.
Let's go ahead and call the meeting to order. Glad to have everyone here. We're running a little bit late, but I want to thank everybody for showing up today, and hopefully we can get through this. We've got a lot of different issues that we're going to bring up today and discuss with you. We're glad to have Jeff Bobo here with the Times News. We've got John Burdine with the TCAT, Kenny Smith with the University of Tennessee, Don Hurst with the State of Tennessee, ECD, Jeff Beck. Glad to have you with us from the County Commission. We've got Glenn Hutchins representing the city here. And we've got Michael Parker, who will be on the program here in a few minutes with Networks, but we're also glad to have our old friend Ronnie Price back with us, who's now working part-time with Networks, and we're so glad to have him. And so, and Calvin Clifton with Mattern and Craig. So I'll tell you about here in a few minutes as we get into this about the meeting that we just had. Did everyone get a copy of the minutes of the last meeting? Have any corrections? I hear a motion that we accept them as mail.
Motion.
Second. Got a motion, got a second
Who did
from
the
Tom,
motion?
Bill and Tom. All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed, like sign. Hearing none, they approve. Rebecca, the report of Secretary Treasurer.
Beginning balance on January the 28th of $22,981.93. We have just a few deposits there from U.S. Bank for interest on the account, and then one reimbursement for $282.59. 3 checks, all were to U.S. Bank for Visa activity, giving us a balance of $20,304.85. We do have one CD at Citizens Bank for $6,131.43. It renewed back in January, and Brent was able to get that interest rate bumped up to 1.11%. So.
Is that it? Any questions? Did I hear a motion that we accept these for our records? Got a motion and second, Bill second. All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed, like sign. So moved. Just to bring everybody up to speed, we just came out of a meeting with the Sonora Utility District and Calvin Clifton and Ronnie and Michael with Networks and the state, ECD folks. Basically trying to, we've got a project that we need to respond on fairly quickly, and it's titled Bluebird, and they're, so we're trying to get, we've made the, I guess, second go around with them, and they're a heavy water user, but we've had an ongoing situation with the water tank and all of that, so we're trying to get that addressed. And so we applied, we met with the first development district, and remind me of his name, I'm having one of those, Ken Ray.
Oh, yeah.
Ken Ray applied for an Appalachian Regional Commission grant, and we've had ongoing talks with them about possibly getting some money to do the water system there with some valves and some different ways of solving the possibly long-term outage situation there, and dealing with the tank, the 750,000 gallon water tank that serves 50 Bend. needs some maintenance work, and so we're working on that. We're trying to get an ARC grant. Back a few days ago, we were in Nashville, and we actually talked with some of the folks that are involved with that. And she assured us that we'd probably hear something within the next week or two on that. Just to let you know that we have applied for an Appalachian Regional Commission, and get that in the minutes and everything, for the Lawrenceville Water Utility District and for the Phipps Bend Industrial Park. The other situation that I need to make you aware of is that we had applied for an SDG grant through the state, and part of that process, you apply. This was for an engineering grant for approximately $100,000. It had a 10% match on it. We had asked the Phipps Bend Joint Venture to do the match to Nashville and make a presentation in front of this body of about a dozen people, and she had asked if I'd go down. They said that, you know, there would be a question and answer situation, so she felt that I need to be there to answer any questions that might arise. But I want to let you know the job that she did on doing a full-blown PowerPoint presentation was phenomenal. She did a great job. I don't know how many, I told her to make a copy of the PowerPoint presentation and make it available to the board to see, because I think a lot of people don't understand what we do, or what we have to do to get these things done, and the quality of the work that she's capable of doing from scratch, basically. And we did get, as you read in the paper, we did get the grant. Now that is to do all the engineering studies required to make that approximately 100-acre site available for immediate occupation of an industry that might come in. And you're moving the sewer line, doing all the engineering for that. You're also filling in the big swag that runs down through there, and anything else that's associated with that particular site, getting it ready to market, and so we were very successful in doing that. We thank Don for his help in the state in getting this thing approved, and thank Networks for their assistance in getting all this together. So basically, they're starting that process now. I think we already signed the contract, or we need to do that.
We've signed the contract, but we've got to get with Matter and Craig to sign.
Matter and Craig signed their contracts for that. So the end result of that is they will come back then with a plan and a cost for completing all this and getting that site completely ready to start marketing. Now the cost of that is a whole different story. We're talking some major money on that, but we have been assured from the state and the Tennessee Valley Authority that the money could be there for a project of this magnitude. So hopefully, if we got a timeline or anything, we heard anything as far as when we might finish the engineering study, Calvin?
I can't recall what we put in the schedule, but
Yeah,
we're ready to,
Yeah.
we're ready
we're
to
ready to hit
start.
the ground running.
Ready to start, so.
There's so many different,
That's okay.
there's so many different components
Right.
to the work that we do work on some of
It's
those.
really interesting.
So, you know, I can't say enough about the assistance that the state and TVA and Networks and the development district folks, you know, Chris Craig and Ken Ray and them have just bent over backwards to help us in this process. like I say, but the key is sitting right here that tied it all together. Did the PowerPoint presentation, did all of the preliminary work on this thing, so I wanna thank everyone that's involved in that. So hopefully, when we get, we get the engineering study done and we start the actual process of trying to come up with the cash to pay for all of this, we'll be moving on. Last week, I know Rebecca spoke with some of the folks that's involved with the RMC company, the Canadian company that bought the spec building. I also spoke with a different consultant, and they assured us that everything's moving along on their schedule. I've been asked by several people, where they're at and why they're not doing something, but now they're the ones it's their building, it's their business, and it's their money. But they are moving forward. They would not let us announce their new customer, but they have signed on a brand new customer that they said would be known by everyone when it's finally announced. They also met last week at TCAT Center with another prospective customer, so they're moving ahead with at their speed. They're coming back in within another week or two to finally tie down, I think, a contractor to do the build out of the building. I think they've been doing some design work and stuff of their own about how they want the building laid out. And so all that's going on, and they told us that by late fall, they hope to be open for business. I'm somewhat questionable as far as that, but, the building's there, so maybe.
Did they ever fix the floor like they wanted? Has they done that yet?
No, they haven't done anything.
Really?
They might even hire a contractor to do it.
Okay.
And you gotta lay it out where you want
Sure.
all the electrical
Yeah.
and everything to go, and, but my understanding is that equipment has already been purchased and is either on the way or is here and being stored. So they're moving on. So just, I guess, it's gone on now for several months, and I know people are getting antsy and wanting to know, well, we're not seeing any movement over there, but I assure you, they didn't buy it to sit on it. They're moving on. Another situation came up, and we're working on it, and we've got Mayor Jim Lee's assistant down there.
Sarah? No, Alana?
Alana. They had to get old, folks. Alana, I've been in contact with her now for the last few weeks. We don't have director and officer's liability insurance for the industrial board. I don't know, this thing came up in a question by the attorney Gorman Waddell for the 50-10 joint venture. And the question was raised with that body that the insurance that the Kingsport Industrial Development Board members have carries over to cover them in decisions made with the Phipps Bend joint venture. And he said you might want to check with your insurance carrier to see if your coverage covers you sitting on the Phipps Bend joint venture. Well, I thought that was a very good question to ask. When I asked the question, we don't have any insurance. So we're in the process, everybody has agreed that we need the director and officer's liability insurance. And so we're in the process of trying to get the information to the appropriate insurance folks. that the county has for like the commissioners and for the other people that work for the county. So that's quite a concern for us, and so we're working to get that resolved. Ronnie, do you recall if we ever had director and officer's liability insurance?
I don't think we ever did.
Okay, this is one of those things that just kind of popped up, and I'll be honest with you, I take some responsibility for that. I assumed that we had it, but we do not. Just the county commissioners themselves and the other office holders have it, but we don't have it. And that's something that's sort of neat, because we're making decisions like today on $100,000, $1 million projects and stuff. I don't particularly care to get sued, personally for this stuff, so, it is something that's, you just assume that everybody has, but you don't, you know, like the Board of Education has director and officer's liability insurance, the county commissioners have it, but we don't have it, so we're in the process, and Atlanta's helping us work our way through this. I did go down and talk with the mayor about it, and he agreed that we definitely need to cover it, we just have not had it, and it's nobody's fault other than, I guess, some of the, like I say, I'll have to take some responsibility on that myself. Anyway, we are working on that, and I think we'll get that worked out, very shortly. There's another concern that's been brought up is concerning our facility here that our office and the boardroom and where we meet clients and things. You know, the US Bank is closing the first floor. But we received an email from the folks, and it says, as you may be aware, the US Bank facility located on the first floor of the building will be closing Tuesday, May the 21st. The branch only is closing, and this closing will not affect the building, any tenants of the building, the maintenance, or any lease agreements. We appreciate you as a tenant and are glad you're here. If you have any questions or concerns, please feel free to contact your facilities management representative, Ms. Mary Jo Parks. So we just signed a 3-year agreement for this, the area that we occupy last summer, as I recall. And so, according to what they're saying, we're good. You know, there was some concern.
I wouldn't push it over that 3-year period, though.
Oh, no. Well, I think that, like I say, I feel a lot better about it, because when we first heard it, we pretty much thought, well, the building's gonna go up for sale, and we'll have to move almost immediately, but they've pretty much assured us that they're gonna stick with the lease. So we'll see how that goes, but
I went up and seen the old office yesterday, and I don't believe we can go back in there. It looks
it's
pretty bad.
bad shape. So anyway, I wanted to, I know I went down again and spoke with, Mayor Lee. He was concerned about, you know, where we might end up, and I guess maybe some of the commissioners were talking to him. But I assured him that we're in good shape for at least a while, you know. And so we'll, just keep doing business as usual and see if we can, you know, we'll keep our ears open and everything for an opportunity if we see it, but, this is about as, reasonably priced situation as we can have right here. We basically pay, in lieu of rent, we pay a portion of utility bills, which is very reasonable. And so, you're not gonna find a better situation, I don't think, than what we have here. had a situation that, we'd been talking with, one of our board members, Tony Birchfield. Tony, you know, has a business there in Hipsden Park, and he's wanting to expand and everything, and when we brought this up at the, Hipsden joint venture, you know, they, as we knew, Gorman Waddell, mentioned to us that you can't do business with yourself, and he said you're gonna need to, whoever we do business with needs to be off the industrial board. And so today, I regret to accept this letter of resignation from Tony. Tony's been a real asset to the board, done a great job for several years now. But his business takes priority and he's wanting to expand, and so, we certainly, hate to see Tony go, because he is in business and has a good feel for what, you know, businesses need, and so, Tony, we hate to see you go, but we understand it, and so, after he resigns from the board, then, you know, they can sit down with Networks and Rebecca and see what kind of, business opportunity he's looking at, and so, it's one of those things, we've had this come up in the past where we've had people, and so, I don't reckon that requires any board action, it's just one of those things that you do, so we appreciate the job you've done, and, we'll see how it goes, and wish you well. Hopefully this, new business adventure or expansion or whatever it is you've got going, we'll, wish you the best on that. I passed out, along that same line, I passed out, back a few months ago, a resume, and, I'll pass that back out again, and maybe at the next board meeting, we'll vote on, we've been, we'd like to, you consider this particular person for this, this opening. We've worked with, Patrick Lunn, who is the, general manager of the gas company now for some time, and, just about every time we have a company comes in, Patrick meets with us and really has a lot to add to. And I think, you know, has the interest of Hawkins County in his, and so we would certainly recommend him. You look his resume over and everything, and at our next board meeting, we'll bring it up. If you have any other prospects for that position, if you would get those to Rebecca so she can get those passed out, and we'll consider those at that time also. Rebecca, what else do you have?
I don't think I have anything else. I'll be leaving out Monday afternoon for my last PBA Valley Workforce Institute class. That'll be the last one. I have to give another presentation at that one as well. We do have the chamber golf tournament coming up, and we usually do a team. If anybody's interested in doing that, just let me know. I'm sure Larry will hit the club, hit the ball, whatever you call it. I don't know.
Sure, we'll get somebody. Okay. Michael, what's going on with I mentioned the Bluebird. Progressive
Yes, that
is still ongoing also.
it's still ongoing. They just have delayed it until late spring, early summer, maybe was the last word that I got from that. But yes, it is still an active project.
Michael.
Well, thanks, Larry. Let's start by reintroducing, I guess, Ronnie Price here. I'm sure all y'all know him, but if Ronnie wants to say anything or address the board, I'll certainly let him do that
Well,
now.
he owes to pay me the money he owes me.
I'm glad to be back, and we work in Sullivan County and here some, and, it's good to see everybody, and I thought, and I'll say it now, that since I left and got back, there's 6 people that's not with us anymore: Gene Greer, Gene Hawks, Jim Rogan, Claude Kane, Danny Roy, and Jim Anderson, and I had a good relationship with all of them, and in fact, Jim Rogan and Claude and Otis, and Bob Lane's the one who hired me back in the day, and gave me the opportunity to do economic development, and I made a 36-year career out of it. And I rewarded Otis back, we had horses and stuff, I named the jackass after. So anyway, all jokes aside, it's good to be back.
We're glad to have him back. As I mentioned, about, I guess at the last meeting, Ronnie's not that much younger than me, but his mind is certainly a lot clearer than mine.
Yeah, I noticed you kind of need a little help.
Well, it's, I can remember situations, but names and things like that are just absolutely leaving me anymore. But you can call Ronnie, and he can recount exactly who said what, and actually the time that it was said and things like that, and that comes in real handy when you're dealing with projects like we were talking about the water tank and everything. And he said, well, you remember we met with Johnny Hayes, and Johnny referred us to Mike McGuire, and he said, you remember we went to Nashville and we played golf at the Hermitage while we were down there, and you know, I remember playing golf.
Remember the golf.
But it's good to have.
You can remember how much you won or lost.
Yeah, I remember that. But it's good to have his memory, and I certainly applaud the networks for hiring him, because he will be a real asset for the entire region. Just getting him back from down in West Tennessee, so. Go right ahead, Mike.
Sure, other than that, prospect activity certainly remains high. You know, Larry mentioned Project Bluebird, that's kind of the one we're kind of hot and heavy on right now. I think we're down to roughly 10 other, you know, communities that we're kind of, you know, in the competition for, including one other one here in Northeast Tennessee. It's really about the real estate with this one. Obviously, workforce development and having that workforce is certainly important, but that's important everywhere. But this industry really wants to be kind of secluded away from the residential, so the Pittsburgh Industrial Park seems to be an ideal fit, as long as we can provide them with the adequate utilities. So that's kind of where we're at now. We're working through those issues, and we kind of hope to have some more progress as this kind of pushes forward. Other than that, we've got lots of outbound trips scheduled in the coming months. We'll be going to MRO's Americas, which is the aviation trade show, specifically for maintenance, repair, and overhaul of aerospace industries, specifically for the aerospace park. I know we just got back from from Day on the Hill. I know Rebecca went down there for that, and also presented to the ECD on the site development grant, the presentation in front of you there. So great work all around there. So the park is extremely important right now and extremely marketable. We get a lot of interest on it, and this probably seems to be one of the most marketable sites we have in Northeast Tennessee, and the one we get the most phone calls about. So, like I said, as this thing continues to move forward, I fully suspect to develop the rest of the park in the coming year or so. So positive things moving forward.
Thank you, and like I say, I don't think we fully understand how many requests for information we get in, and it's unbelievable, and each one of those requires, used to in the olden days, you did a booklet, you know, and you could see the physical things going out, we box them up and send them off. Now you're doing it all electronically, but the amount of work and all the different documents and everything that go in it with all the utilities and everything, and it has to be designed for that particular industry. You know, the one that we were talking about today, Bluebird, requires a huge amount of water consumption, and you've got to design the I don't want to say handout or mail out, a proposal has to be designed specifically for that particular client, and you have to address their concerns, and usually, especially if they're using, like this one is using a worldwide consultant, they ask a lot of tough questions. You have to answer all those questions. It takes a lot of time and effort, and And we appreciate Networks, working with Rebecca and getting these things out of here on a timely basis, so,
And even if Bluebird doesn't, shake out for us in a positive manner, just having the consultants on site, seeing this community, seeing the park is certainly a positive aspect of it. So we might not win Bluebird, but having them on site, having them knowledgeable of the Pittsburgh Industrial Park will certainly keep us in consideration for future projects. And that's what we've seen. So this consultant's actually been here 3 times on previous projects. So, the fact alone there that, this sticks in his mind, this is a viable site, he keeps coming back to it. It's only a matter of time till something does stick.
that's a good point. Also, I was talking with a consultant that brought the Canadian company, and they've got a contract with the Canadian government on any projects that come this way, and so we have become quite good friends, and, they're looking forward to coming back over and visiting with us, irrespective of the company that's coming. They're, like I say, they've done their job, they're through, but, we have, spent a lot of time with them, and they know what we're capable of providing, for their companies, and they're very satisfied with that. So, I think we'll be seeing that group back again also. So, it's always, this entire business is about contacts, and certainly, we've made those through the years, so. Anything else? Anybody have anything else that you can think of? Say again, thank you all for your time and what you dedicate to Hawkins County, and hopefully we'll see some good results. We'll start early in the year this year, but I think I feel real good about 2019. I think, we've had 2017 was a great year, 18, and so I'm looking to these folks to make sure we have a really great 2019 also, so. Mr. Otis?
I make a motion, we adjourn.
Thank you, sir.
150 straight.
We're gonna play,